So we're here with another video answering some of the more common questions people ask about the CPA exam. And this video is going to deal with the question of how should you study? What methods and tools should you use? And I think it's a common problem people are thinking about just because there are so many different things you could look at. For a lot of people, their firm or the company they work for may provide something like Becker that's got a lot of workbooks you can study, and even with all of those workbooks, there's the sections you could read, there's practice questions, practice tests, there's video lectures, and that's just within Becker or whatever provider you're using. There's also YouTube, flashcards that people have made online, Facebook groups. Some people's master's programs or undergrad programs may have classes that help you prepare as well. So really it can be a little overwhelming how many different options there are of how to study. And you could face the problem that you try so many of them that you don't really get far with any of them. So I think it's important to recognize that you don't have to use every method that is at your disposal. Even within Becker, you don't have to use every method that Becker provides. You really need to sort of take a step back before you dive in and think about how do you learn best. Because for some people, if they're watching videos, they're just going to tune out and not pay attention the whole time. Or if they're just listening to something, they kind of don't even pay attention to that. Some people enjoy reading the textbook. The people who maybe don't pay attention to video, if they read, they can remember it. But then other people, they're always following the method that, they read the same page 5 times and have no idea what it just said. So I think just sort of think back to, in your time in school and as you prepared for tests before, what did you typically use? What was helpful for you? Was it listening to lectures? Was it reading the textbook? Was it doing flashcards? And then try that out first as you study for the CPA and just really see what works best for you. And I think it also could depend a lot on which section you're taking. Because, for example, FAR is going to probably be a lot more numbers-based with journal entries and things like that, whereas when you take audit, it might be a lot more qualitative, a lot more, reading the different answers and thinking about which one is best. So just how you prepare for those might be different. And so don't be afraid to change if the method you're using is not working. Don't be afraid to switch it up. Try something new. You'll never find a better way to study if you only try one way. I can talk a little bit about my personal experience. So with the lecture videos, I was one of the people who would tune out. And so all I did was read the textbook. Eventually just stopped watching the lectures or listening to them at all. Reading the textbook and then just multiple choice questions on repeat. Went through them so many times because I think it really helps you learn the format, just like sort of how they structure the questions. Because even though you might be talking about a different topic, a slightly different area of the financial statements, or the numbers change a little bit, if you understand kind of the cadence and the structure of how they like to ask the questions, that was helpful for me. And then I used flashcards a lot as well. Going on a place like Quizlet, people had made their own flashcard decks on pretty much like any topic you could think of that you could access for free. So for me, it was really just about repetition with the multiple choice, the practice tests, and I think, but hey, that was what worked for me. It might not work for you. So definitely overall, don't be afraid to try everything. Don't feel like you have to do everything. Whatever has worked for another person may not work for you, and that's okay. And don't be afraid to switch it up when you get to a new section, or if you just need to do something different and try something new. So I hope that's helpful. Thanks.